Hello everybody, it's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys so much for stopping by for a new Tuesday tip. Now, if you are looking for your next creative card design, you've come to the right place because we're going to be talking today one more card on torn edge cardstock. Some creative things that we can do with paper when we tear it. And the other great thing about this card today, we're going to be using up some scraps. I know we have plenty of those. I think you're going to love today's card. So let's get started. I think the look of a torn edge card is fabulous because there's so many different things you can do with it. You can do whimsy, you can do masculine, you can do it. It actually can look very elegant in the right colors. It's just so easy to create with a torn edge. And the best part, you're going to have some great reasons to use up some of those scraps. So we're going to create this wishing you the best day ever card. It's a very simple one, and I thought these colors were just perfect for summertime. But I wanted you to see my fun little Halloween card too. But let's go ahead. We're going to create the best day ever. I'm going to be using a stamp set called Framed Occasions. This one's a fabulous one because you got a lot of different stuff in here. And this one actually goes with a set of dies. This is the Beautiful Shapes die, so we're going to go ahead and bring some of those into our card as well. Very quickly, let me go over what you need to create the card. My card base is Coastal Cabana, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, so that's going to fit into a Stampin' Up! Medium-sized envelope. Let's see, looks like I've got some Parakeet Party here. I have a piece that's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, 1 by 5.5. Speaking of 1 by 5.5, let me go ahead and just bring in the other pieces. This is Polished Pink and Mango Melody. They are 1 by 5.5, but guys, this is scrap. So if yours is 1 1/4 or 1.5, it's all fine. We just need some strips at least 1 inch wide, and they all need to be at least 5.5. The last thing here, I've got some basic white we're going to be working with. This is a 2 by 5.5 because I want to show you a little trick. And this is again just a piece of scrap. It's about a 2 3/4 by 4, and that is for our stamped focal images. I've also got some of this fabulous black and white gingham ribbon. Love this stuff. I've got 8 inches. Stick around. I got a fun ribbon technique to teach you with that. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to start with some stamping. And for my stamping, I'm going to want a little grid paper underneath me. I'm going to come in with the Coastal Cabana ink pad. And from that Framed Occasions, I've got just a simple little kind of floral image. You notice how I'm just rotating my cardstock and kind of keeping my stamp in my hand and just rotating the cardstock around. It's going to give it that real random look that I want for a good background here. Now that's great, but I wanted to fill in some of that white space. So we've got this great little dot stamp, and I'm just going to kind of come in, fill in. You notice the same rotation of the cardstock. That means my dots will always have that random feel. So let me go ahead and finish doing all of my little dot stamping here. All right, the front of my card is done. Now let's work on the focal image for the front of my card. I am going to bring in my Memento Black ink pad for this. So we're going to start with this hexagon kind of outline stamp. We're going to put that right there, and inside we are going to say, wishing you the best day ever. You want to know what I love about a sentiment like that? Is it can be anything, right? We could be wishing you the best birthday, maybe first day of school. We could be saying, you know, just a great day, you know, just wishing someone a great day. So I'm also going to use on this piece of cardstock, I'm going to come in with my Polished Pink ink pad, and we've got this great flower in Framed Occasions, and I'm just going to stamp that right there. All right, it's time to come in with the matching dies. I'm going to take the largest hexagon die, and we're going to die cut here from that Parakeet Party. Okay, that'll fit right inside there. A little tight, but it'll fit. Next, I'm going to take the next to smallest die, and we're going to die cut our wishing you the best day ever. And then in our circles, we're going to take the smallest circle And we're going to die cut that flower from a circle. Simple, simple die cutting. Now, if you don't have these dies, you could use any circle here. Of course, keep in mind, these sentiments can be anything. You could fussy cut this, or you could just cut it into a square and have the image be square. So it's whatever you want to do, but I do love these beautiful shapes dies. They're really fun to work with. And through the magic of television, I have those done. Now, I didn't mention at the beginning of the video, but if you want to stamp and create on the inside of your card, you can bring in an additional piece of cardstock. This is basic white, 4 by 5 1/4, and you can see some of the stamping I've done there. So I'll tell you what, I think I do want to go ahead and have that on the inside of my card. I love to decorate the inside of my cards because I think it makes such a difference. So since I already have this flower in polished pink, forgive me, I'm going to go ahead and stamp that there. I'm going to clean my stamp, and my simple chamois is perfect for that. Now let's come in with Mango Melody. We're going to stamp another flower right next to this one. Clean my stamp again, and I'm going to stamp a flower in Coastal Cabana. Now we're going to bring in some Parakeet Party, and we've got a little fun leaf image. And with this little leaf, we're just going to add just a nice little burst of some color here. It kind of adds something to those flowers. But I've got one more little trick for you, and it's one of my favorite stamps ever. It is a pencil eraser. So this is a brand new pencil, never been used. And I love to use the brand new eraser on pencils in my black ink and use it as a stamp. And even though those little 3 dots in the center are cute, I really wanted to pull out some of the black, and I wanted a nice center for my flower. What do you think? I think that is a great way to add color. And guess what? To clean it, just right there on your chamois. All right, now that that is done, we're going to talk about our torn edge. So we've got our 3 pieces here, and you know, tearing edges is a little bit of an art form, but it's also very therapeutic. When I tear cardstock, I like to tear in little short spurts, and I tear towards myself. And so just tear in little, rather than trying to tear all the way down, because you know it won't go straight. This gives me the ability to, you know, kind of create some waves there in my torn edge. So there's one. I'm going to repeat that here with my Parakeet Party. And guess what? I'm going to do the same thing there with my polished pink. All right, those are done. You remember this piece that was 2 inches by 5 1/2 of the basic white? Well, with this one, guess what? We're going to just tear this in half. And this allows me to get 2 pieces out of 1 piece of cardstock. But you know what? Like I said, if you have scraps, feel free to use your scraps. Now, this is the trick you need to know about using the torn edge. We have what I like to call the rough edge, or a smoother edge. So you get to decide. So let me bring in my original. So you can see here, I've allowed the rough edge to show. Can you see? How about we reverse that? And I'm going to create the same card, only we're going to flip these pieces over so that we have the smoother side of our torn edge. Want more information about today's card? Guess what? I've got a free download for you that goes along with my cards today. If you will just look down in the YouTube description, there's a direct link that'll take you to my post, and you'll find the download there. And if you like the project that I created and want to get your hands on those stamps, you can order right there at simplysimplestamping.com as well. I've got the supply list for you. Click it. You can order right there, and I would love to be your demonstrator. All right, now we've got our pieces of cardstock torn. Let me show you how we're going to put these together to build that fabulous card. So this is how these are going to start to go together. Okay, but of course you can put your layers together any way that you want. So we're going to start with the back. So we're going to start with the polished pink. I'm going to put my adhesive right down this side. And remember, you want to make sure that you've got either the pretty side or the rough side up. And then I'll lay my next piece. This basic white will go right on top. And guess what? We're going to add more adhesive here. You don't need to go too crazy. You'll have plenty on there. And then of course, all of this is going to be adhered down. Now I want you to see, look, there's some of that basic white sticking out right there. Doesn't matter. Down that end we can add another piece. And our last one is going to be the Mango Melody. Again, great bright colors. And this one, we want to make sure we're getting right to the end. There we go. Remember this card that we created? We're going to take that torn edge now, and we're going to adhere it to our card. Now you can decide where you want it, but I'm going to leave a little bit of that coastal cabana kind of peeking out there. I like that. Now we'll take our focal stamped images that we had die cut. I put some adhesive here on the parakeet party, and I want the points going up because I'm going to take my sentiment and do it at an angle. Now, if you stamped yours differently, you make sure you just move those around, but this we're going to add with dimensionals because dimensionals make everything happy, don't they? All right, we'll take the backings off and that will center up right there. And that little flower, we're going to add, actually, I'm going to put a dimensional actually right there on my cardstock. This is going to ensure that I get this where I want it. And we're just going to top off the top of that just like that. Now I told you I had a trick to share with you, and that is with the gingham ribbon. You had 8 inches of the gingham ribbon. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm just going to tie it in a knot. This is a great way to kind of get a double ribbon here. So we've got it like that. So can you see we have a loop here and just straight edges there. We'll trim those down. And now we will trim this other side down, and look at that cute little double kind of knotted ribbon. I'm going to take a mini glue dot. I'll press the center of that knot onto the mini glue dot, and look what happens when we add that burst of that gorgeous gingham ribbon. Isn't it great? Now we have that stamped image here. Remember, this can go on the inside of the card. And in an instant, your scraps have created yourself a really great card. Let me go ahead and bring in my my Halloween card. Now, I like Halloween, but I'm not big into gross and scary and creepy, but I do love cute. And this is the Scary Cute stamp set, and it is just that. These little guys are just adorable. And I do love to create some sweet little Halloween cards. And so here I use pumpkin pie, rich raspberry, parakeet party, and basic black. Really good Halloween colors. Say boo and scary on. Did a little Halloween happiness and some cute little bats there on the inside. But remember, there's so many options with torn cardstock because you can create just about any kind of card that you want. Just use up those scraps, mix and match your colors, have some fun. I know you're going to love creating these cards. Thank you so much for being here today. If you like the video, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? I always appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, click the great big red subscribe button. Even click that bell right next to it so YouTube can let you know whenever I'm back with a new video. Thank you again for being here, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.